All right, can you all hear me? Yeah. Looks like I didn't know that was gonna happen. That was a surprise to me. Wow, all right. Hey, how's it going? It's good to be here in Atlanta. Thanks a lot to Blake, that was a beautiful intro, and I'm really happy to be here at Creative Mornings, and I'm here to talk about love, and I'm going to talk about all the projects and ideas that I've loved and why, and how sometimes there really isn't a defining line between my work and my personal life. So I've spent all of my adult life here in Atlanta, and before that I grew up in Lilburn, which was right next to Stone Mountain, and I try not to take that for granted. So growing up, I was always doing art and music, and art and music, and a lot of my kind of love stems from my youth, and I think that kind of always really set the tone for where I am now, and finding that happy place of the things when you're kind of young. So around the time I was middle school, high school, I started making these tapes, and I would record in my basement and do all the packaging and the liner notes and put the lyrics in there, and I would make them and give them to my friends, and it was kind of just for the pure love of it. And my dad would say, "You need to be focusing on your homework. What are you doing?" And I thought this was my homework eventually. So finding that kind of balance between your work and your happy place is something I've always been kind of working on since I was a kid. So here's a cool picture of my parents with a 280Z. I think that they traded that in for like a station wagon when I was born or something. So after I graduated from Georgia State, my dad gave me a digital camera, and I did film in high school, but this was kind of the first time I really got to, explore things a lot. I think this is Olive Garden, by the way. So I started taking a lot of pictures these are my grandparents, and I started taking pictures of my family and my friends and the people that I loved. And I'm really grateful that they were so, gave me their time and let me kind of learn the ropes a bit. This is this is probably 2007. So I started this series called Persona, and more so than like photography, it was more of a chance to get to know people and get to share an experience with somebody. And it's a portrait and kind of mixed with what's your everyday essentials, or what do you keep in your bag. And I even did some pets. This was actually for HGTV, and it's kind of just how I express my world. Photography is a bit of note-taking for me, and any means possible, whether it's a film camera or a digital camera or sketching or painting. And here's a couple from the series. Just flying through. So I've shot over 450 at this point, and it's something that it's just always fun. Like I can't stop. Here's a couple of pictures of people putting things back in their bags, surprising them. And then, pretty early on, around 2007, I was part of an art show here in Atlanta, and I showed 24 of these, and I thought, hey, that'd be it. Did it, that's fun. And I did a lot of freelance design around time at different agencies, and I shot weddings for years, and that really kind of like flexed my muscles, and I enjoyed it. And I had a lot of people keep pushing me in the photography world. So around 2011, I took Persona to the 2011 South by Southwest conference, and this was at the convention center. And we set up a little booth and had people kind of empty their bags and showcase what was in there. And there was this giant Chevy exhibit next door, and there was 24 cameras, and it was going around, and it was crazy, and just kind of felt like a gimmick. Whereas like over here at this kind of makeshift DIY booth, there was people that were interacting with each other and talking about what was in their bags, and that kind of spoke to their personality. So at the same time, I was down at this restaurant at this Scene and Grill, and this was my booth. And I had the opportunity, it was super exciting, to photograph some personalities that came through, like John Oliver, and this is John Taylor and Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran, and Michael Stipe from REM, and his eyes just burned a hole straight through me. It was pretty cool. So after that, came back to Atlanta. We did a video about the whole process, and then I also flew to New York and did a video for Yahoo and Flickr, and I ended up on HLN talking around some things. There I am with the crew. And then Blake mentioned this, but most recently I had some of the Persona featured in Things Organized Neatly. And this is something else. I mean, besides photographing like people and the places I love, I also love photographing things, and some of my collections of things have ended up underneath my camera. My G.I. Joe collection and Nintendo games, and I'm a bit of a hoarder, but I'm trying to kind of break that a little bit. A couple Octobers ago, I was like, I'm gonna try 31 pumpkin beers. So I love the process of kind of like figuring these things out, and one thing kind of leads to the next, and I had this idea for a couple contests to just try making logos out of actual like physical product. So I did that for a couple people, and then I worked with 99 Cent Only Store, which is on the West Coast, and working freelance and working really hard with brands kind of got me to this place where I ended up working for MailChimp, and I worked there for 3.5 years, and I still work from them to time, and they really give a time and a place and an opportunity to do really creative work, and they encourage that, and they cultivate fun ideas, and their motto is "Love what you do," which kind of falls right in line with, I mean, you kind of cherish that attitude. So one of the first things I did was I was at a metal show, and I saw all the merch, like just 35 different bands playing, and all these crazy metal logos. So I thought, wouldn't that be cool for an email marketing company to show their logo in a metal font? So that ended up on some billboards, and we printed it on sweatshirts and gave it to everyone in the company. And I think that's our job sometimes as humans, is to try to do work that maybe affects a positive change in someone. That's kind of our mission. And MailChimp is a place that really encourages that. So one of the ideas was to do paint in a cool way, and maybe we can do the logo with it splashing, I don't know. But it ended up finding out that paint dripping slowly can be really captivating and colorful. So ended up experimenting with that, and turned out really cool. So we used it in a video. Oh, the colors are weird on the projector. And working with the team on this was awesome. We were able to kind of collab and come up with something that was visually striking, and kind of put it all over Ponce to symbolize that MailChimp was moving from the west side of town over to Ponce City Market. And here is an ad, and then at a conference in Chicago. And this was maybe one of the coolest things, but it was shown on Times Square on a big ad. You can see all the, cool. So another thing that I really love is being able to do posters for different speakers. It was much like this. Every Friday there's an inspiring individual come talk. So making posters, Black Cap Tits, and I got your name right in there. And you get a picture of the person with the poster, and that's always kind of fun. I did one for Big Boy, and yeah. that happened when you hand your sweet pic. So highlighting individuals obviously is something that I've really come to love, and that was something that I wanted to do for the social media and highlight the actual people that work at this company. So I'd usually had fun with this one, and here's the team that I had so much fun with. I'm glad I had them in my corner. So one project I worked on there that kind of led to something else on a personal route was that I ended up dumping too many sprinkles on this donut, and I thought, that's cool. So it's just kind of, I call this the sprinkle show, and it's just kind of a fun way to explore color and composition. It's kind of just a play time. And, you know, sometimes there's a theme, sometimes there's not. There's just really there's no rules here. It's like, who is this for? It's for me. I can do what I want. Another one of those was this one I called Owner's Eyes, which is kind of just an accident, but taking people's eyes and so I still get a kick out of that. Not too long ago, I got a drone, and you know, how would I use this in a way that I love? You know, and I think that took me a minute to find out, because I got one and I named him Daniel, and then that flew away. So I got another one, and I named it Dottie. And going back to this kind of persona series, I really like organization, and I had this idea for a while, but I really wanted to try shooting like a band with all their equipment. And then it's kind of becomes a different vantage point that you can get an interesting perspective. So something else I kind of, a mentality that I subscribe to is this idea of always be sweating, which to me means like giving it your all, and I think I'll always be that way, just not phoning anything in and really caring about the outcome. And some things can be terrifying. I mean, they just are. So one of the things I've been painting and drawing since I was a kid, but I've always, you know, looked forward to this opportunity to do a mural, and you know, taking something that's 30 inches and stretching it to 60 feet is, well, it scared me a bit. But I had help. There's Mr. Black Cat Tips and his wife, and already the strongest man in the world, Toby Huss, helped out. And this was kind of just like a love song to Atlanta. I have the phoenix rising from the ashes, and the little PBR mascot's doing an 8-town down. And he's forever just thirsty. He's never gonna have that beer. So another thing that I really put my heart into is my band, and it's just a project that I love so much. And it's, you know, it's a combination of that same thing going back to when I was a kid, of art and music. So here we are playing some shows, and one of the shows we played at the Tabernacle, I took a picture of the crowd. So I'm gonna do that. How you guys looking? That's pretty cool. Oh, too dark. What's happening? All right. Cool. Yeah, smile, cheese. Cool, Memorexed. So, you know, getting to have a, you know, not only a project where you can do the, you know, work on the songwriting, the music, you get to design posters for this, and, you know, have to be kind of a self-starter on this kind of thing. But when it's something that you love, you know, you put your heart into it. And I'm really proud of this record that we made, because you know, I collaborated with some good people on this. Troy Staines and James Victori helped me out with the photography and some of the typography. And getting it to hold it in my hands was really cool, and working on the tape and helping with the photo shoot. And there's James wearing the t-shirt, working on the website. I mean, it's just endless. Seeing it in the store is really cool. And then lastly, associated with that, we did a music video. This was another collaboration we did at the Goat Farm, and worked with a dancer on this, and Troy Staines again, and Kevin Bird. And I mean, it's just like a labor of love. I mean, you know, putting your own money into something that's just for the love of it. And I was really happy with how it turned out. We even shot a green screen segment that didn't make it into the video, and I was the guinea pig for that. This talk's a lot different than it would have been a year ago for me, or even a year from now. And most recently, at the end of last year, I moved for love, and I moved to be with my girlfriend, Marion, in Los Angeles. And I moved for one type of love, and now I'm finding love in other ways and trying to learn a good bit about my community and kind of get used to it. She wanted to move to sort of branch out and not live her whole life in one spot, and I think that challenges me a lot to step out of my comfort zone and kind of just learning to love, to not be content with everything all of the time. But this one's pretty. So we're hot dog bling there. So we sometimes we collaborate on projects. Sometimes it's a total surprise. This one we were in the desert somewhere between Las Vegas and Los Angeles, and stopped and got some oranges. And then I had my buddy Troy take a picture of me here, and then I drew it. I made a tessellation out of it, and then we took it full circle, and I had it printed on shirts and backdrop. So that's pretty silly. Sometimes you just want to do something that's fun. Another kind of idea that I had that I wanted to do was I shot a portrait of us. I didn't tell her what it was for, and then I collaborated and commissioned 10 different artists to do artwork that was their variation. I said, do whatever you want, have some freedom, and so that was a lot of fun, and I gave that to her for Christmas. She was surprised. So now I'm living in Venice Beach, and it's a challenging transition. I'm finding this new love in LA, and learning a ton this year. There's lots of opportunities and room to grow, and there's things that I can't prepare for, and I have to realize that I can't prepare for them. So there's some strange and beautiful things there. The attitude and the weather and the landscape, it's kind of all playing a role for me. It's at the same time, it's the same as when I was a kid with these tapes, finding that kind of balance of my work life and my personal life. Don't forget to love the small things. And another series that I just started recently, I haven't shown this to anyone yet, and so I'm calling it Transplants, because I'm not from LA, and a lot of people that I meet aren't from LA. And it's kind of just helping me find out my own journey through their journey. And this is just kind of talking to people and getting to know them a bit, and where they come from, and all the places that they've lived, and the impact that they've had on them. So it's just something kind of fun that I've been doing recently, just for my own sake. And So challenges are, they're really tough for a reason. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a challenge, and they wouldn't force you to grow. So I think, enjoy the process and enjoy letting love guide you. And that's all I have. Boop.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. J-Trav. Does anyone ever call you Jason?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
I get called Travis.
Does anyone ever call you J-Trav?
Yeah.
Okay,
I get that
both.
too.
Good.
Oh, you want to hear a story? I'll tell you a quick story behind that. I had a close friend about 13 years ago. J-Lo was really popular. And I had a small group of friends, and he said, there can't be two Jasons in our group. So he just started J-Loing my name. So I just became J-Trav, and it just kind of stuck. So that's it.
When was that? How old were you?
21 or 22.
Okay, I was hoping you were going to say 8, but... All right, we're going to do a Q&A with J-Trav, a.k.a. Jason. So if you have a question, raise your hand, and I'll run the mic to you so it's recorded on the video. Stunned.
Ran through that.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was going to ask a question, and it was going to be real hard. Just kidding. Where's Al?
Good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, how are you, man? Good to see
Good.
you.
Nice to see you.
So my question is, obviously color plays a strong role in your art. Why?
Color, I have kind of a problem with color blindness, and I've had it for a long time, and so a lot of times I'm always kind of struggling. And I think for me, when something's super bright, I can kind of see it. I think that might be one of the reasons why. I don't know. I feel like I've been asked that before. That's a really good question, though. I don't know. It excites me for some reason. I think it goes back to just having trouble seeing a lot of colors. I want to try and get them right. It's sometimes I did one of those color blindness tests, and at the end they're like, "Yep, you're pretty colorblind." What do you do about that? Nothing. So I feel like I try super hard. I don't know.
What do you feel has been, particularly in the beginning of your career, although it sounded like it started when you were really young, what do you feel has been sort of your biggest struggle to overcome in pursuing the things that you love or your passions?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think there was kind of like after school, there was a lot of kind of where do I go? I think because a lot of times you do school and then it's almost like you're starting over again, like afterward. And I think kind of finding the right circuits. I had a lot of people that really pushed my photo side of things, and I still love design and I love illustrating and I love playing music and all that. But I think trying to find like kind of which path, because I think you can do a good bit of all of it these days, but finding out how you make like an income off of that, or where you sort of, and freelance is still a struggle. I'm still kind of understanding or figuring out what to do next or what's the best path. So that was a tough one. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest struggle really is like, how do I keep pursuing this thing that I've wanted to do since I was young and never give up? But I really don't think there is any other option. Like, I don't know what else to do. So I just got to keep trying hard. Come to Creative Mornings, meet people. That's it. I have a struggle answer if you want to see some of the struggles I go through. I have a minute-long video. Do you want to see it? Okay. My buddy Troy shot this. This is all iPhone stuff, and this is sort of like, you have those sort of breakdowns because you're trying so hard to get something like really great. But here, check this out. Oh, we need audio. We have audio on this? Anyway, that's like...
Okay, you want another question?
Sure.
All right. I feel like I have a lot of projects like you do, passion projects kind of, but mine maybe don't come quite as far to fruition.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, neatly organized guy, how do you keep all this organized? How do you, I'm sure you have more projects that don't make it onto the screen.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. I was just about to note that. I kind of sometimes these days I really love just having the idea sometimes and not getting so bogged down on like making everything happen. I have ones that have been like kind of in the works for years that I don't know even if they'll ever come out. But I think sometimes it's okay to like just to fail at something pretty bad, and if it doesn't come out, then maybe someone else is doing it and they'll do a great job at it. That's a pretty terrible answer. Oh, I have tons of notebooks. I have like probably like I don't even know. I think I have like 16,000 pictures on my phone right now. I have like notes that are I actually like lost all of my notes. They just completely like I didn't have them in the cloud and they were gone. But yeah, I'm pretty incisive kind of like note taker on my phone and handwritten. Yeah, I don't know. That's it's not easy. There's a lot of things that are just super hard, you know? Like, I don't want to make it seem like everything's easy, because you know it's not.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The first one's easy. What's your favorite lens?
I like the 50 millimeter. Some people call it the nifty 50. That's probably my go-to.
And then my second question is, who inspires you? Who do you look up to?
Who do I look up to? I mean, lately I find a lot of inspiration outside of the art and design kind of world. And I've just been like obsessed with basketball lately. Sports documentaries, and I even got a basketball. I've been playing a lot lately. I haven't done that in like 20 years. I don't know why. I think because I'm like by Venice Beach and I see everyone playing all the time. But I'm inspired by a lot of the classics. I have a lot of contemporary photographers I'm inspired by. I just watched like Pulp Fiction the other day. Like I don't know, like a lot of classic filmmaking. I got ideas from like, wow, he's got a lot of low angles in that, you know. I kind of get it anywhere it's kind of like filtering in, and you kind of decide what, you know. I'm always looking around for like what's around me and what's in my environment. I saw some like cactuses recently that I thought were super cool. I don't know. You don't see cactuses here, so it's like new to me. It's fresh. So, but yeah, like William Eggleston, he's like a great one that I look up to, and Richard Avedon as far as like photography goes. Yeah. What's in my bag? I've looked at it a couple times. I think pretty much everybody's always got a key, and you know, keys or a wallet and a phone. I always have a camera on me, generally. Pens, I have a lot of pens. Notepads, earbuds. I don't think I have anything that's too out of the ordinary. I've come across people like right after Halloween, and they got, you know, crazy Halloween costumes in their bag. You know, I photographed people that carried guns before that I had no idea. They're like, we got to photograph this like somewhere else. No, I had no idea. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't know you carried that with you every day. But yeah, I don't think I have anything that's too far out of the ordinary. Oh yeah, are you paying attention? Yes. How many pictures have I taken? Oh man, thousands. I wish I had a number, probably over 100,000. Yeah, definitely.
All right, a couple more over here.
When you see your personal projects take life and you have your idea come to the screen, how do you actually market yourself? Do you market yourself from a commercial way, or is it built through relationships?
Personal projects. I think a lot of times I just want to like get it out there and like share it. Some things kind of might stem from you know, brand work or something with a company, but I don't know how to answer that one. That's a good one. Could you ask it again?
I guess what I'm saying is, do you, when your projects get picked up commercially,
Yeah.
is it that someone has just seen your work because you put it out
Oh.
there, or is it built through relationships? And do you keep up those relationships so that you
It's
can
a little
do
bit of
additional
both.
work?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Like I get asked a lot, you know, to organize things, and have done that for different brands a lot. And sometimes it's randomly. Like I had one not too long ago that just, you know, came across the website and wanted to get me to do some work for them. And then other times it's like, you know, someone in Portland that I know from Atlanta wants me to, you know, work in, you know, for like a brand new bag, the product that they have. They want to tie that in with it. So I think it comes a little bit from both. Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
We had been out of touch for a long time, and then I saw the tessellation, is that what it's called, of you and your girlfriend and being process oriented. I'm really interested in how you came to like, oh, this is a great picture of her holding oranges. I'm gonna take a picture of me holding limes.
Right.
And then how did you get to wallpaper and shirts doing the same
Oh
thing?
yeah. Well, that one was kind of like a little bit of experimentation. It took like kind of a little trajectory to get to that point. But I think I initially started drawing the picture of her, and then it kind of hit me like that would be cool to do, like, you know, something that was, because I'd done the calendar beforehand, and it was, I guess, kind of the idea behind it was to be like a kind of another gift. So that kind of like, oh, let me include myself in that again. So then that's kind of where that came about. And then I had also kind of experimented a good bit with Print All Over Me is the company. And they'll kind of take your design and they'll cut and sew and they'll fit it on anything. But there is a tiny bit of like Photoshopery going on because I could only get like a drape and it wasn't quite long enough. So, but yeah, it was kind of fun. I actually I ordered some shirt and like it came wrong and it's like 4 weeks delivery time or something. So I had to like get them to do it again and send it. So it kind of took a while. It's probably like 6 months from that like first drawing to like getting to what I wanted to be the final kind of image. But yeah, it was just something that we could like kind of do together and have fun with.
Hey, what's been your biggest challenge in moving to Venice, I guess?
Biggest challenge. So I haven't gotten a car yet, and I've just been biking and walking and taking, you know, Uber and Lyft to get around. And that's actually been kind of fun because I've learned from a lot of the drivers just about, you know, it's almost like just this social interaction of like, oh, give me your story. That's been kind of cool. I think the biggest challenge was kind of at first, I just kind of didn't know where I was because, I mean, 35 years I've been in Georgia and I don't know anything else. So I think actually the longest I ever spent out of Georgia was 2 weeks. So, you know, and now I've been there like 6 months and it's like, what? But I think time is just you know, you have to give things some time and kind of know that it's going to be a process. I think that the biggest challenge is finding my place. It's such a big place, and finding some sense of community or something that you're like, that makes you feel comfortable. And so I've done a good bit of that as far as, you know, branching out to people, seeing people that I already know from here, and just trying to be okay with the process of like learning a good bit about myself. And it's been a lot of like, you know, a lot of like, I have a lot of critique or, you know, kind of like have a lot of shoulders to lean on here. And it's been a lot of like self-starting, kind of like motivating myself, kind of, I still appreciate everyone's like help from afar when I can get it, but a lot of times it's have to been like kind of within me and trying to find that. But it's been getting real good. I'm really enjoying it. And I love coming back here and seeing everybody. Like this is great. it's still my home. I mean, I love it.
What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. So now that you're, kind of a big deal and all, how do you kind of take all like the quirky, awesome stuff that you do, and then when people like headline news or other people come in, how do you take like the corporate side away and keep the J-Trav quirkiness in there? Like, when they like make you do like, hey, you have to do this, or you have to go this, you can't have oranges in your face.
That's a good one. There's a good deal of discussion, I think. And if something's like a good fit, I don't think that everything I do, I don't want everything to be like so strange. Not everybody can digest it. I think on the surface, like Persona is like pretty easily. It's all visual. Doesn't really need much explanation. It's just who are you and what do you put in your bag? And I think that can be like adapted to a lot of different things. As far as the orange and sprinkles and stuff, that might fit well. And you see a lot of ads like Old Spice and Skittles. People, it's kind of like weird is the new norm or something. So. But yeah, there's definitely like been some struggles and some wanting to do something that's captivating and interesting and fresh when you're talking about something that needs to be more like kind of straightforward. I don't really have a good solution for like fitting those together, but I've definitely had some instances that kind of just like, I've had a couple this year that just kind of like no good, just didn't fly. And I guess you just kind of try and figure out where the pieces can connect and if they can connect. I don't know, is that helpful?
All right, let's give Jason a round of applause.